All right, let's talk about a big decision. A huge one, really, for anyone whose online project is starting to take off. We're talking about choosing between cloud hosting and a dedicated server. This can feel like a major fork in the road, so we're going to break down exactly what you need to know to pick the right path.
So picture this. You've put in all the hard work, right? Your website's traffic is climbing, people are engaged, and suddenly your current hosting plan feels a little tight. Now, that is a fantastic problem to have, but it does bring up a really critical question. What's the next step? Where should your growing website live now?
And that is exactly what we are here to do. We're going to dig into the two heavyweights in this arena, cloud hosting and dedicated servers. And the goal is simple. By the end of this, you'll have a really clear idea of which one makes the most sense for you and your business. Okay, let's jump right into path number one, the flexible cloud. And believe me, there's a very good reason this option has become so incredibly popular. It really all comes down to one word, adaptability. So what is cloud hosting really? Well, instead of your site living on just one single machine, it's actually spread out across a whole network of servers all connected together. Think of it less like a house on a specific plot of land and more like a dynamic entity that can draw power from an entire city grid whenever it needs to. And this is where it gets really cool because all these advantages are connected. See, because your site is on a network, its resources can scale up or down completely automatically. If one server has a little hiccup, no big deal. Another one just picks up the slack. This gives you incredible uptime and resilience, which is perfect for sites with unpredictable traffic. Like when a post suddenly goes viral. And maybe the best part of all, you generally only pay for what you actually use. All right, so that's the cloud. Now let's pivot and look at path number two, the powerful, dedicated server. If the cloud is all about being flexible and nimble, this one is all about raw, focused power. The name really says it all. Dedicated. With this, you are renting one entire physical machine. All of its processing power, all of its memory, all of its storage, it is 100% yours. There's no sharing, no neighbors. It's your own private digital fortress. And that right there is the core appeal. Because the machine is all yours, you get total control. You can install any software you want, configure it exactly how you want. It's your playground. This also means performance is incredibly consistent and guaranteed. There's no noisy neighbor hogging resources, so your site's speed is stable. And that level of control extends to security too, which you can customize to meet very specific needs. So we have the flexible cloud on one side and the powerful dedicated server on the other. Both are fantastic options, but they're really built for very different jobs. So let's put them head to head and really see where they diverge. This table breaks it down perfectly. For performance, think flexible and scalable for the cloud, but consistent and guaranteed for dedicated. Now, the huge difference is scalability. With the cloud, it's automatic and instant. With a dedicated server, that's a manual process, and it often requires downtime to physically change the hardware. For control, you get a managed environment with the cloud, but full root access, meaning complete control with dedicated. And finally, cost. The cloud is typically pay-as-you-go, while a dedicated server is usually a fixed and often higher monthly fee. Okay, that table is great for a technical overview, but what does all of this actually feel like when you're running a business? Let's talk about a real-world scenario. Imagine your product gets featured on a major news site, and boom, traffic goes through the roof. With cloud hosting, the system senses that surge and automatically pulls in more resources from the network to keep your site online. It just works. With a dedicated server, though, it has to handle that spike with the power it already has. If it's powerful enough, great. But if the traffic exceeds its capacity, your site could slow way down or even crash. So we've seen the theory and a practical example. Now we get to the most important part, figuring out which path is the right one for you right now. This is probably the most important question to ask yourself. What's your priority? Is it the ability to adapt to anything, to scale on a moment's notice? Or is it having that bedrock of stable, predictable, guaranteed power that never, ever wavers? And that leads right into this next question. Just think about your traffic patterns. Are you an e-commerce store getting ready for a huge holiday sale? Or a media site that could go viral at any moment? Or are you a business application that has a really predictable number of users day in and day out? Your answer here points you strongly in one direction or the other. Let's make this even more direct. Here are some clear signs. If your growth is unpredictable and you really value flexibility, the cloud is almost certainly your answer. If you need maximum consistent performance and total control over your environment, you should choose dedicated. When you find yourself constantly needing to scale up and down, it's time to upgrade to the cloud. And if you've hit the limits of other options and you need custom security or guaranteed resources, that's your signal to move to a dedicated server.
You know, this quote really says it all, doesn't it? Choose cloud hosting for flexibility and resiliency. Choose a dedicated server when you need maximum control and stable, guaranteed power. That's the perfect summary. Flexibility and resilience on one side, maximum control and stable power on the other. That is the fundamental trade-off.
So you might know which path is right for you today, but the final thing to remember is this. This isn't a permanent decision. The best choice for your project right now might not be the best choice in 5 years. The key is to just keep evaluating your needs as you grow. So think about it. What path are you on today, and where is it leading you next?